As I've been building out my closet and establishing my personal color palette, I've become more and more interested in personal color analysis. So I recently had a professional analysis done. I went to someone with an amazing amount of expertise in this particular area, and I received my own color palette. So I want to share that with you today. I want to go over what personal color analysis is, who I worked with, my own personal analysis and the color palette that I have, how that's informing my wardrobe, and ultimately what I'm using moving forward, and maybe how you can use it yourself. So let's get started. So personal color analysis is essentially color theory and the idea that certain colors will harmonize really beautifully with you as a person. So building your wardrobe color palette around this can be great because those colors will mix and match and allow you to feel your best with very, very little effort. Most of us are aware of this through seasonal color analysis. I've done a few videos about this. I know there are so many on YouTube, and you can either be a winter, a spring, a summer, or a fall, and each season has its own color palette. So I used this. I self-diagnosed as a winter, and it was a great springboard. So I started to dig a little deeper and decided to go with a professional analysis and see what I could learn. I worked specifically with John Kitchener, and he came with so many fantastic recommendations, and I really wanted to go this route because it's unique. This very individual perspective that goes beyond seasonal analysis. So you aren't broken into a category that's set, but rather you are the common denominator, and your color palette is worked around you as a person. So they're very diverse. They go beyond seasonal traits. So you might have gold and silver. You might have slightly warm and cool colors, and the breadth of this color palette is perfectly representative of that. Once I booked my analysis and got permission to film this for a YouTube video, my husband and I went to John Kitchener's house to get this whole analysis done. But I essentially had to show up with no makeup and in a neutral colored top. I think I wore a gray sweater, and he did everything in natural daylight. John does this very quickly based on swatches that he's collected over the years. And then everything is broken into categories based on how you will be viewed wearing those colors or the emotions that they're going to bring out. So the first category is romantic. I realize that I have basically no clothes in the romantic colors, but what I've been using these for specifically is lip and cheek colors, and it's been unbelievably helpful. I went through everything and compared swatches, and anything that matched one of these romantic colors is a color that I love. It feels really easy to wear, I instantly feel revived, and it matches perfectly. After the romantic colors, we move into the powerful colors, and these are some of my favorites. I love the feelings they're supposed to bring about, and I'm naturally drawn to so many of these. These are colors that I have a lot in my color palette. So I love green, as you know, and there's a lot of green in this. And seeing that reflected within this professional palette made me even more confident to recommend that you follow your natural instincts and your eye. And if you're drawn to something, chances are there's a reason for that. And it can be a really helpful way to build out your color palette. And then we move into playful colors, and I loved seeing all of these together because they instantly made me feel happy. And one of the things that I thought was the most exciting is that sweater that I have that belonged to my grandma. It is this exact color palette, and it fits so perfectly here. And I think that that's so cool as you're seeing how your coloring has been passed down over the years, and seeing that that color was something she loved to wear, and how that feeling can be translated into my own color palette. And then from there, we move on to the sophisticated colors. And when I saw all of these together, that's exactly how I felt. They feel very elegant, very refined, and very sophisticated. They're colors that I've tapped into occasionally in my color palette, and every time that I wear them, I feel exactly that. And so seeing them all as a cohesive story was so wonderful because now I have a better understanding of how those can fit within my overall color palette. This next set of colors is classified as calm colors, and these are the colors of my eyes. And this is what I found really interesting also because these were recommended for shoes, bags, belts, accessories like that. And I naturally gravitate towards those. Some of my favorite accessories are in these colors, and it's one of those ways ways that seasonal color analysis can be a little bit limiting in my experience, because depending on what I was looking at, I wasn't given brown, but I've always added brown into my closet, and I've done so in a way that's felt perfect for me. So it circles back around to that instinct, and if you're naturally drawn to something, chances are you should incorporate into your closet. Now, this next set of colors is classified as understated, and the descriptor formal I think is perfect for these. These are really beautiful colors. They're colors that I've gravitated towards a lot over the years, and I have a few of them in my color palette, and specifically all of those beautiful dark greens. The descriptor for these being formal I think is perfect, because that's exactly how I feel when I wear them. This next set of colors I found really interesting because they're classified overall as being reserved, but they're broken into subcategories. So the first one is Twilight, and these were recommended for pants and skirts, and these are colors that I've always admired from afar, but to me they've never seemed like they would work on me or in my color palette. So seeing them here and how they can play with all of the other colors was really eye-opening. And then the next category under reserved is refreshing, and I don't have any of these in my clothes, but what I do have is this top section reflected in my cheek products. So I have a couple blush products that are in this color family, and I've always put them on when I felt a little bit tired, and they instantly made me feel refreshed. And then the last two groupings of colors in the reserved category are colors I have a lot of in my closet. They're the neutrals that I've been reaching for over the years. They're easy to find, they're easy to mix and match, and I love wearing them. But something that I've also been doing here is using these colors in my eyeshadow, and specifically those kind of mid-tone and then the really darker colors. I'll put the mid-tone on the lid and then smoke it out with the darker colors. And then much like the last two selections of colors under the reserved category, the conservative colors are colors that I have a bunch of. I gravitate towards them. They're very easy to find. They're very neutral. They mix and match, and they're recommended in pretty much every single wardrobe curation book, article, or video. So they've become a real standard in my own color palette. I also really love them because I have really dark hair and really dark eyes, so I'm drawn to those blacks and those darker colors. And then for the whites, I was given both white and off-white, and seeing this confirmed was so great because I've naturally reached for both. And in a lot of traditional seasonal analysis, you're given one or the other, but I've always allowed space for both in my closet, and I've loved how they've all worked with my overall coloring, and then of course the color palette. And it also made perfect sense as we closed things out with the jewelry, because I was given both gold and silver. But the key here was that they needed to be shiny. Matte or muted out metals didn't really contribute a lot to the color palette, and is something that I found to be true myself. And I love shiny jewelry. I love sparkly things, and really shiny gold and really shiny silver is something that I will continue to wear for many years, I'm sure. So that was my personal color analysis, my individual experience, and my personalized color palette. I've been using it in so many ways since I received this analysis, and it's been allowing me to work within my color palette in a more in-depth way. And I've been able to use this information to tweak my makeup and really allow those colors to all work and play with them in a way that I understand. And it's been such a great tool. I highly recommend it for anybody. If you go with John or maybe someone else, getting an analysis by someone with a trained eye is so helpful. And like always, I hope that my personal experiments can be helpful for you. And you can decide if this is something you want to pursue yourself, or if it's something you don't want to bother with at all and you're just going to keep wearing black. Definitely let me know in the comments down below. And like always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Have a great day.